Welcome to the Colors Delight for Life. It's about life, where we share our experience, strength, and hope to help others so they have a better understanding. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. Hello, my name is Tommy Berraby. I am a health and fitness coach, and I help business owners work and focus on their gut health. Why gut health, do you wonder? We're going to get to that in this show.
Yes, we will definitely will get to it in the show. I'm going to kind of give you a little background on what it's about life, sharing experience, strength, and hope. We kind of go a little bit back to your childhood, and we look for things that you've overcame or obstacles that you've been through in your life to show people that they can make it too. And
for sure,
yeah, it's a very positive experience. Don't worry about, you share what you like to share and feel comfortable with, but sometimes sharing something deep really can help somebody out of, wherever, depression, anxiety, stress, as you probably as a coach, deal with those things. And I do coaching too. I'm not gonna, the only thing I'll say is I used to weigh 494 pounds at one time.
Wow.
Yes.
Look at you now. Wow.
Yeah, I look pretty good.
Well done. Seriously. Yeah, you look good. So yeah. Growing up from the ages of 4, 5, from what I can remember, it was quite a happy childhood. I was living with my mum, my dad, my brother, and my sister. What I started to notice as I started to become more aware was quite a lot of arguing going on with my mum and my dad, but it wasn't so much my dad. He kept quiet. It was my mum sort of, at him all the time, telling him what to do, how to do it. He eventually left. And then it was me, my mum and my sister left. And I started to notice, my mum wasn't quite right. And, she'd done some nasty things to my brother and my sister, which most of it I was kept in the dark about. I was a young child. So my brother and my sister sort of shielded me from quite a bit of it. And then I got to notice my sister moved out at a very young age. She moved out at 15 years of age. And at the time I was like 5 or 6 years old. And I couldn't understand why she moved out. I just lost my big sister, and I was a bit upset about that. But we carried on, and as time went on, my mum got worse and worse and worse, and she actually had schizophrenia, and she drove my brother away as well. She'd done something awful to my brother. It was disgusting, and being a child at the time, I didn't really know what was going on, but she had this obsession with the devil, and she was saying that the devil was stuck inside my brother, and she beat him so bad. I'm surprised I'm even mentioning this on here, and it makes me feel sick just thinking of the vision of it. She drove my brother away, so it was just me and my mum left. And despite having quite a happy childhood, the memories I've got are of, even my mum would do things for me. She was great with me. Let's not get this misunderstood. My mum was such a great mum, but when she drove everyone away, it was just me and my mum. So she pulled me out of school for no reason. And, it was strange to me because I wasn't going out, and she wouldn't let me go out with friends either. She stopped me going out the house. There was something in her mind where she didn't want me going out. So I couldn't get a haircut. I couldn't go to school, and my friends were knocking on the door, and she would tell me not to answer it. So I'd look out my window, and the friends that I was so used to going out with, playing with every day, I couldn't go out and play with them anymore. I was looking down the street, and all I could see was them playing, and I couldn't work it out. So I was stuck in my bedroom, and I had a TV in there, and I didn't really have much to do. And she was asleep a lot of the time. She was in bed a lot of the time. And I remember going downstairs in the morning, playing board games on my own, versus myself. And I made my own fun. I was so good at making my own fun because I had no other choice. I wasn't allowed out of the house. But what she did do was she got up every morning at one point. This was a stage where she stopped me going to school. She was home tutoring me. Now, whatever her reasons were for stopping me going to school, I'm not sure. But it could have been, the fear of going out the house herself and facing people. I don't know what it was, but she had schizophrenia and it was getting worse. So she home tutored me, and she'd get me up in the morning and she'd have all these papers on the table, and she'd sit me down. I didn't know what was going on. I was used to going to school, but at first it was upsetting to me, and I was crying, and she was forcing me to do it, but she made me do it. And then at lunchtime I would have a break, and we'd play a board game together, and then I'd get back to my work that she had prepared for me. And in the evening, she made me read every single night as well. And I thank her so much for that now, looking back on it, despite what she must have been going through. I'm sort of going all over the place with this story, so bear with me. So it's just me and my mum, and then she's getting worse and worse and worse. Now, I mentioned about having a TV in my room. Well, one day, all of a sudden, she come and took the TV out of my room. I was left with nothing in my room except for a box of Lego and a tennis ball. And let me tell you now, I had hours of fun with this tennis ball. I would throw it against the wall and pretend I'm a goalkeeper and saving it and just doing all these things on my own. I had nothing else to do. I was building all this Lego. I had a little portable radio as well. I used to go everywhere listening to this little radio. She never took that off me. But as time went on, things got worse, and I would hear her downstairs shouting, talking to herself, throwing things across the room, and it really scared me. And then she stopped putting food on the table, and this was, I loved my food. In fact, I had a bit of an issue with food. I might even go into that at some point, but I had quite a bit of an issue with food, and she stopped putting food on the table, and I was just eating whatever I could when I could. And yeah, things got pretty bad. She stopped the home tutoring because I think her schizophrenia got so bad that she just stopped caring about anything, and she was just oblivious to everything. And then one day I just got up and ran out of the house. She was smashing things up downstairs, smashing ornaments up, and I just decided to run out of the house one day. And I knew where my brother lived. I'd been there quite a few times before. I'd been to where he was staying, and I ran round there and stayed with him for a couple of nights. And eventually my dad ended up picking me up. At the time, my dad was homeless. So he picked me up, and he was actually driving around with me in the car at night, trying to keep the car warm for me to sleep in. And he was driving around all night. And I remember him telling me not long ago, actually, that because I didn't know this at the time, I was only young, but he got pulled over by the police at night time, and they asked him what he was doing. And he said he's just going somewhere. But he said if I'd have woken up and sat up, the police would have seen me. He would have been in serious trouble. So I ended up moving in with my dad. And it was like a completely different life with my dad, because despite all of what I've just told you, there were so many good memories in my childhood. My mum done so many things with me before she got worse. My brothers and sisters done a lot of things with me. I was very lucky. And I think maybe my brother and sister had the worst of the brunt of my mum's mental health illness. So I moved in with my dad at the age of 10, and it was a completely different life because I could do what I want. I didn't have to, I could go out when I want. I could eat what I wanted when I wanted. I could see who I wanted. And, as much as my dad cared about me, that was his way of showing he cared. And also maybe he felt a bit sorry for me because of what I'd been through with my mum. So he just let me do what I want when I wanted. And I went to a school round there, but I had this really bad phobia of getting my hair cut. And my hair got really long, and I got tormented and bullied at school, not just for my hair, but just bullied in general. And I couldn't get my hair cut. And obviously it was because my mum stopped me from doing it for so long that even though I'd wanted my hair cut for so long, I actually got to the point where I was actually scared to go and get my hair cut. But I was chopping bits of hair off myself. It's crazy. I was cutting bits of hair off myself, but I just didn't want to go and get my hair cut. And in secondary school, like I told you, my dad was homeless, and he moved in with a friend when I moved in with him. When I left my mum's, he had no choice. He moved in with a friend, and my dad had no money at the time. He had just been made redundant from work, and he had no money. And I had to go to school with, I didn't have the trainers and everything else that everyone else had, and I got bullied quite bad. But things got better. Things got better as time went on. I didn't like school for the first few years, but one thing that I do remember is when I went into this new school, into this secondary school, I was one of the brightest kids in my year, and the teachers was all, was all shocked at how clever I was, how far ahead I was on especially maths and English, considering that my mum stopped me from going to school for so long. Yet the home tutoring that she put me through obviously worked a treat because I was so far ahead on so many things. But as time went on, I went downhill. I can't really say I got in with the wrong people, but I just went downhill. And I was like, 10, 11, 12, and I got to 13, 14, and I was stealing from shops. I was breaking into factories. I was stealing. I was doing all sorts of things that were really bad, and I really went downhill. And I had a lot of health problems as well. I was struggling. I was struggling mentally, physically. I couldn't sleep. As a young child of 11, 12, 13, I was up half the night, not being able to sleep. Now, this is where I believe that health and well-being has come into my life, because the way I was living off of nothing but boxed and packaged foods, but I also had an obsession with food. I did not stop eating, and I did not stop eating the wrong thing. My dad would say to me every week,
that I deal with eating. I'm just letting you know that I deal with an eating disorder, and I understand where you're coming from. And I also deal with mental health issues, and I understand where your mom's coming from, but I've overcame those. And I just thought I'd bring that forward to you. So I do have some understanding where you're at. So sorry for breaking in there like
no,
that.
that's all right. That's amazing that you've overcome them things, Andrea. I'm so pleased that you have as well. So anyway, yeah, sorry, I've not even come up for air, I don't think. But anyway, so I'm just, I'm all over the place with this, what I'm telling you. But I'm just trying to tell you the things that are coming to my mind. But my dad would say to me, what do you want for I'm going shopping. What drinks do you want this week? And I was addicted to Coke. All I wanted was Coke every week. And he'd get me a case of 24 cans of Coke. On a Monday was when he went shopping. And I'd come home from school and all these cans of Coke would be there. And I would drink maybe 4 or 5 a day. So by Thursday, they was all gone, and he wasn't going shopping again until Monday. And then he'd have to try and find money to give me to go down the shop, because all I drank was Coke. And my skin was bad. I had acne all over my face. I was getting tormented for it. My scalp was so bad. I had the worst case of dandruff ever. It was all over the back of I had to wear a blazer. They call it a blazer at school. It's like a coat, and it was black, and all this dandruff was covering my coat. And like I said, my sleep was bad, my health was bad, my skin was bad, my mental health was bad. I was playing up at school, I was getting into trouble, I was stealing, I was actually turned into a bit of a bully myself, because I got bullied for so long, and I think it turned me into a bully as well. I was an absolute mess. And obviously, and when I left school and I got to 16, 17, I then found something called alcohol. And I started drinking alcohol, and I loved it. And on top of that, I was eating more poor foods, and my health further declined. And I was back and forward to doctors all the time, getting one medication after another to cover up my symptoms. Yet when I got into my 20s and become a personal trainer, I got to the point where I was thinking, how can you help other people if you can't even help yourself? How can you show up to help someone else if you are such a mess yourself? And I wasn't so in tune with the health side of it. I was more in tune with the exercise side of it, because I'd always loved exercise. I was always into so many different sports as a kid. So I think that's what sent me down the route of becoming a personal trainer. And I was actually on a train one day, when I was 17 years old, and I saw a bodybuilding magazine, and there was a front cover of a guy who just looked amazing. He had an amazing body, but it's his story that caught my attention. He'd been through a lot of things in his life. He had been on so many drugs and so much alcohol. And I think, wow, this guy has turned his life around, got this body and become like a personal trainer. I thought, I'd like to do that one day, but that just planted a seed in my head, because at 17 years old, I was no way ready just started changing my life. I had so much more to get out of my system. But yes, eventually I became a personal trainer when I think I was 21. I had a lot of jobs before that I didn't like, and I became a personal trainer. And I was doing what I enjoyed doing, but there was still a void there. There was still something not right, and it was my health. It was my mental health, my physical health, my all over health was in jeopardy, and I was suffering big time with not one thing, but a whole list of things. And the doctors, you know, they was doing what they're trained to do: prescribe, prescribe, prescribe. And one day, this is where it all changed for me. I went into my doctors with a question that I didn't really want to ask, but I thought I'm going to ask it anyway. Doctor, could my long list of problems that I'm suffering with have anything to do with what I'm eating? And it's fair to say that I walked out of that doctor's feeling a short-term sense of relief, because that doctor did not tell me that what I'm eating or what I'm drinking could have anything to do with how I feel. So I carried on, went back to my usual lifestyle. Even though I was a personal trainer, I was eating all this rubbish. And don't get me wrong, I did start to eat, you know, I was trying to eat a bit healthier and things like that. I was eating vegetables and things like that, but I was still stuck with all these health problems. And one day I just decided that change has got to be the way. And I've done so much research, I've done many courses, and I started studying alternative medicine. And I've not looked back since. Since then, this is why I'm helping people with their gut health, because right down there in our belly, I call it the pinnacle of our health, because you can bet your life that if something isn't right, even if it's your head, even if it's your mental health, you can look down there in the gut for some answers, because they call the gut the second brain. And when the brain in your gut isn't happy, you can bet your life the brain in your head isn't happy either, because the two of them convey messages between them both. And I always say to people that what goes in, whether that be food, drink, or air, what goes in will have a direct impact on how you look, think, feel, and function tomorrow, the next day, the day after that, and the day after that. And that is why now I am so passionate about helping people who are suffering with health problems, particularly business owners, because being a business owner, if you are suffering with a health problem, you haven't got time for anything that's going to detract from your day-to-day productivity. I mean, no one has, you know, no one's got time for that. But if a business owner is suffering with health problems, then their business is going to suffer on every level. And the business owner that I find, most of my clients, they come to me, they are ready. They have been round the houses. They have been round doctor after doctor, getting nowhere fast. And they are ready to do whatever it takes. Whatever it takes, they are ready, because they just want to claw back some of their happiness, some of their productivity, and get back some of their vitality, that they are ready. And this is part of the reason why I work with business owners, not just for that reason, but also through my struggles myself.
As a business owner yourself, what are some of the things you've overcome doing your business? If you would like to expand on that.
Some of the things that I've overcome with my business, well, like I say, I mean, health problems for starters. When I was a personal trainer, I was essentially a business owner. I wasn't working for gyms. I was working for myself, and I was struggling to get out of bed every day. And I actually hated myself. Every single day, I was so depressed, and I was struggling to go and show up to, you know, coach people, to give them some enthusiasm, because it was their time. It was they're paying me. I couldn't go there feeling or showing that I felt a certain way. Yet I felt awful, and I was using so many different external sources, such as, I don't know, energy drinks, just to perk me up. And when energy drinks weren't enough, I began using something called a pre-workout drink, which is a very high caffeine drink that a lot of gym goers use. And when that wasn't enough, I'd use two of them. And when that wasn't enough, I'd use two of them and an energy drink, just to give myself some some get up and go and a bit of enthusiasm to give these people who I was training. And it got so bad. And if I didn't make a change sooner or later, or get to the root cause of the problem, then the whole business owner, the whole personal training thing was gonna finish, was gonna end.
And looking at, in your business, it looked like, from what I can see in your personal journey, that you had to find, how would you say you got out of that place of eating bad and, and showing up for your clients? And it, for me, if I don't show up or have good attitude and take care of myself, the one thing, at least I find, is that happiness is outside, joy is on the inside. And the joy of whatever you're doing has to come from the inside, no matter what you do in life. And love and kindness and compassion for yourself first, and or whatever you believe in. And how do you see that playing out in what you're doing now? And how did that kind of stuff affect your life? Because I deal with physical issues myself, but I don't let them try to be an excuse to do what I need to do. And I realize that kind of mindset really can set you up for success and handling people in a good way. After me talking about what I was talking about, what do you feel about it? How do you see it, with you? I take care of myself to the best of my ability. That includes my doggy Ann, who's laying down here right now with me.
What dog you got?
I got a beagle. They're adorable.
Lovely.
Yeah, she's 10 and a half. So she's the apple of my eye as far as I feed her tuna and a really high quality food, because one thing I do find is I drink milk. I use real butter. One of my things I had was stomach problems, and I'm just coming out of that, was I had chemicals that were in foods that weren't natural.
Yes.
So I'm having to go to a more natural diet and stay away from prepackaged foods. I do canned goods, but in water, and no chemicals or things, because that was brought to my attention by my doctor, and I adhered to it. And I couldn't eat fruits and vegetables and all sorts of stuff. And I was eating salads, but slowly but surely, because of that, those chemicals, my body was reacting to those chemicals. I had to let those go and really read the back of the packages. And so my health got better. And that was very important to me. Even though I deal with, like I said, bipolar, PTSD, multiple personality disorder, I can understand where you're coming from. A lot of challenges and things that you've overcome personally to get where you're at, and having that mindset that, what, you can do it. And after me talking about what I've talked about, what do you get from it? How does it help you? What do you see for yourself and your own personal journey as far as that's concerned?
I love what you said about your doctor, advising you on them things, because that is one doctor you're going to want to keep close to you for the rest of your life, because there aren't many doctors like that. And I love what you're saying about the chemicals and the foods, and food is everything. Food is medicine. And I always say to people, this is a little catchphrase a lot of people will know me for. Knowledge is power. Nutrition, hydration, sleep, and movement are medicine. Because, knowledge is power, because when we don't have the knowledge, we are none the wiser. We don't know that diet can help us. We are living in a world that is perfectly crafted and perfectly situated to keep us getting more of the things that we don't want, need, deserve, or have time for. There is a lack of knowledge and lack of awareness in this world. And right now, that is like pointing the gun, and our lifestyles and our environment are like pulling the trigger. And I believe, if we can get this awareness and this knowledge out there more, then not everyone is going to be ready to change their ways, but they will know that when the time is right for them, when they are at the end of their tether or when they are sick to death, like I was, there is something available to each and every single one of us, no matter how unhealthy you are, no matter how bad you feel. And there is something available, and it is called change. And just knowing that, these things are available, just knowing that there is another way of living that may be diametric to how you are living now. There is another way, and it doesn't have to be boring. The food doesn't have to be boring. Exercise can be fun. All these things, that we need to be doing really to look after ourselves. I think so many people, they don't know, and they get to a point, okay, like now it is time, now I've got this illness, or now I just don't feel like I did, some time ago. Now then is the right time for them. So whenever the time is right for them, there is that available always.
What do you see for yourself in the present moment and then moving into the future with your personal life and your business? And if you want to expound on that, on what you're comfortable with for our audience.
Yeah, so this is always quite a tough question for me, because success to me is not defined on how much money I make, but how many people I can help. I have so many friends that are driving around in flash cars and buying their first houses. And, I'd say I got started quite late in life. I had, I never saved any money. I was in and out of jobs for many years. I was drinking a lot of alcohol, doing a lot of drugs. I was doing the wrong thing for so many years, probably while many of my friends were saving up money and for houses and things like that. Or a lot of them had parents that were giving them the money. I've not had that, and money is not a driver to me at all. Money does not, and I sort of sometimes think to myself, you know what? I wish you did care about money a bit more, because you'd be more, you'd try to go and get a bit more. But as long as I've got good food, now I don't cut back on the amount I spend on food. That is one area that I will never, I don't care if it means saving up for a house. My food and everything like that will come first, my health and well-being, because as a business owner, you are the one tool that you use. You are the bottleneck in your business, and we all have one tool that we go through life using for everything, and that's our body. And if we don't make time for our health now, we'll sooner or later have to make time for illness. And I got that quite early in life. So everyone arrives at that stage at a different point in their life. So yeah, I just want to help as many people as I possibly can. I want as many people to get to know me as possible. And I want to teach people about a different way of living.
Looking at what you do, how do you get your clients, to come to you as far as your business? Is it referrals? Is it things you do social media and stuff like that? And there's going to be something I share with you afterwards that you're going to really love and you're going to get for free. So I'll say that to the end after we're done with this. But how do things like that happen for you?
Yeah, so obviously I get referrals, and I am on Facebook and Instagram, so I get a lot of clients through that. You see, I do a daily video, and it lasts roughly about 3 minutes. And I don't know if you're familiar with Facebook or not, but I do a daily story, and what I'm always doing is bringing new people through to my audience, and sometimes I might get a little conversation going with them. And I'm not bringing these people through because I'm trying to sell to them as such, not right away, but I'm bringing these people through so they can watch my videos and take from it what they will. And when the time is right for them, they might ask for some help. And I'm there to give them the help. I'm there to give them what they need, because when it comes to the programs that I put my people on, I'm not withholding any of it. It's no secret what I do with these people. It is all based around the 4: nutrition, hydration, sleep, and movement. All the knowledge that I have is out there for anyone. It is no secret, but it is the application of the knowledge. It is having that coach by your side, on your shoulder every day, that is helping getting these people to stay on track, to do these things. And as a result of it, feel damn good, like we all should, because so many people are walking around feeling way below par. And this has become the new normal. Abnormal has become the new normal. So people are coming through, I'm bringing new people into my audience over time. They're seeing my stories, my videos, my content. And, they might have no intention of ever buying from me or working with me or whatever, but maybe it will get to a point where they sort of do need some help, and I'm going to be top of their mind because they're seeing this sort of thing from me every day. I'm going to be the go-to guy when it comes to their health. I just want to help as many people as I can.
Do you set goals for yourself as far as how many people you want to help, or have goals, for the audience? What kind of goals do you have for yourself?
This is an area where I definitely need to focus on more, setting more goals, I think. Yes, I do have, small weekly goals. But I generally go by how I'm feeling. And on the days where I'm feeling my best, I'll put more work in. On the days, and that could be with my business, that could be with the physical aspect of my own training. And on the days where, because we aren't always 100% every day, on the days when I might feel I need to take a little break or a little rest from it, I will shut off from it for a bit. So I do have like a weekly goal. But yeah, I could definitely do with working on goal setting a little bit more for sure.
Okay, we're going to come to the end here. And if there were 3 takeaways that you could give to our audience, what would it be, as far as, what would be of good value to them and what may actually set them apart and get them going in the right direction?
If you are suffering with mental health, we must remember that the brain isn't a separate part of the body. It's part of the body itself. And like I said near the start, now I know I rambled on a lot. You wanted to know some deep things, so I just went on, and it was quite deep for me telling you. I don't normally talk about this, but
can I tell you something? You did great, and that's going to help a lot of people. And people who can see people coming from that background, and I've definitely come from a background like yours, and it's not easy to overcome those factors and gain self-confidence in those things. So I applaud you for being able to do that. So, and I do thank you. Go ahead and continue, with the takeaways you would.
Yeah, so when it comes to our mental health, because I'm guessing what this is a lot about, your shows as well, that our brain and our belly, they convey messages between the two. There's a nervous system in our belly. It's called the enteric nervous system. The brain and the belly are conveying messages between the two all day long. So what is going through your gut is going to directly influence how you are thinking, how you are feeling. And we get prescribed medications, we get prescribed antidepressants. These are known as SSRIs, which stands for selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors. Now, there's one word in there called serotonin. And that word serotonin, we make this inside of our belly. 90% of it is made inside of our belly. And we can do this by feeding the bacteria that live inside of our belly. They will make serotonin. And what do we feed the bacteria? Plants. If it grows, eat it. So the biggest takeaway I can give is you may have been through things in the past, but it doesn't need to stay with you. You can look forward and you can influence how you are feeling by what is going in and how well you are adhering to the big 4: nutrition, hydration, sleep, and movement.
Thank you for coming to Claire's Delight for Life. It's about life. I hope you enjoyed our podcast as much as I did, and I hope you have a great day. I also want to let you know that we are on the platforms of Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, TikTok, Instagram, and Pinterest. And I would gladly check you out and check these out, learn about what we're doing and great things that you can learn. And also check out our website, Declares Delight for Life. It's Declares Delight for Life, DECLUTTERS, Delight, DELIGHT FOLIFE.com. I know that was a little bit long to spell out, but what I would also love for you to check out and share this information with others and share them about the podcast, because it has great value, because you can learn about the experience and strength of others, and that experience and strength of others can go within you. And I would also love you to check out our books, Clutter to Declutter, 28 Days to Declutter Your Mind, Declutter Your Mind for Now. And if you think about it, in the next 2 months, we're going to have another book out, The Secrets to Overcoming Depression, Anxiety, and Stress. And I know for a lot of you out there, these are things that you can address. And we have these, and they were done from the heart, from me to you. And over the next couple months, you will see things out also in audio and video with these books. And check it out. I hope these would be of great value, because that's what we want to give you: great value and love, kindness, compassion, and hope and love and truth. Thank you. And I appreciate everything and who you are. And thank you.